Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Coach Spotlight powered by RockDaisy. I'm your host, Ron McKeefrey, and excited to have Andrew Molck with us. Andrew's the head strength coach at Rockwall High School outside of Texas there, and just doing a phenomenal job of integrating multiple programs and being able to communicate across the board. So, man, appreciate you taking a Sunday, and we're both super busy with spring ball and all the things going on right now, but I appreciate you jumping on with me today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate being on. RockDaisy has been really good to me. So anything I can do to help them out and give back to them, I just appreciate it.
Well, we were talking, we're talking offline a little bit, but you've been there for quite some time and been able to build a program from scratch. Talk a little bit about, your journey in the strength and conditioning field and why you chose Rockwall as the place to be.
Yeah, so I started out coaching in 1997, just right down the road in Roy City, mostly as a football coach. But I've always kind of been the strength guy everywhere I go, and then got full-time into the strength and conditioning around 2010 with a performance course. And then my son was about to be in middle school, and I thought, well, I need to get back into coaching at the public schools again so I can be with him and spend more time with him and actually have hands-on coaching time. So had a really good relationship with Coach Rodney Webb, and he was at Rockwall High School. And so we got reconnected again 2013 here at Rockwall High School. It's a great place to be. Won a lot of games here, and it's been fun.
You guys converted the position a couple of years ago to really trying to integrate not just the high school that you're at, but all the feeding schools that go into the school, and you're kind of tasked with coordinating that. What did that process look like, and the problems that presented itself before you had an AMS system, and how RockDaisy's maybe helped you along those lines?
Yeah, so you're right. When I first got here in 2013, I was coaching a position and coaching football as well as being the strength guy. And then the district decided to thought it was important enough to hire a full-time strength conditioning coach. So I served the north side, and then we have another coach that serves the high school on the south side, and middle schools, 2 middle schools each, ninth grade center each, and then all the programs at each high school. Really just being able to keep up with all that in one place made us really want to look to an athlete management system. Kind of just been doing it on spreadsheets and trying to figure it out on my own. And I'm a dummy when it comes to technology, so I needed a lot of help from a lot of people on where to put stuff, how to keep stuff in order on spreadsheets and in Google Sheets and stuff like that. And heard about RockDaisy, started looking into it, and thought, man, I really need to check into this athlete management system because it was definitely needed where we were at.
You bring up a great point. I mean, we're about the same age, just kind of talking the timeline there. And, you and I both have had to work probably extremely hard to kind of stay up with the technology over the last 20, 30 years, of doing this. Talk a little bit about why, sticking with a spreadsheet wasn't the way to go. Maybe you'd done that longer, and then how easy it was, or how intuitive RockDaisy is for somebody that maybe did, I remember them putting a computer lab into my college.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of meathead when it comes to like technology, and it makes me uncomfortable. And so I really don't want to change, but I'll tell you, RockDaisy's been so easy. I wish I would have known about it a long time ago and went to it a long time ago, because it just makes my life so much easier. I don't have to scratch my head about how to do this or that. It's really easy. And to be honest, the customer service, the support from Elvis and John has been tremendous. I mean, just the first week trying out RockDaisy, I was like, all right, we got to go with this, because those guys were so helpful, and you can do so much in here that I had no idea that I could be doing. So it was a no brainer once I got to trying it.
When you, a lot of people will talk about, technology in the weight room and weights and just, everything kind of like it does that not seeming like it goes together. Right. And you don't want to be carrying around a computer. You don't want to be carrying around a phone in the weight room. When it comes to data entry, for the coach that's sitting there saying, how hard it is to compare just writing it down on a clipboard and then going back in later and typing it in versus having your phone or iPad right there and type it in, kind of show how that process works and then why that's so important.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I've tried to keep up with technology. It's a fast moving game. I think we're becoming more sports scientists than we are strength coaches, for sure, especially like at my level where I have to do everything. So having some type of a system is really helpful to me. So just doing testing data, just simply, when we run a test, it's going to be like 3 or 4 days, and we'll do vertical jump, standing broad jump, pro agility 40s. We'll get a 10 fly with that 40. We'll do bench press, power clean, squats. And so there's coaches assigned to each one of these tests, and they all have accounts with RockDaisy. All they have to do is log in, pull it up on their phone or on their laptop, and then whatever test they're in charge of, they just enter the data for that kid. So it's as simple as um, right here, I have the vertical jump pulled up. We use a jump mat. So that coach is right there. And then we're just worried about jump height on that jump mat for this test. And so they just click in there, enter the height, and then it's in there. And then I can go back later and run all kinds of reports based on the data that was entered for each test category.
Yeah, what's great about this is for the people that are coming from spreadsheets, this looks very similar, right? It's exactly what you're used to, but just the fact that you're able to have it, in a web interface that you can use at the testing station and not have to double your work. I mean, when you have to go, when you're recording it, writing it down is just as quick as typing it in, but you're creating double the work because you're going to have to go type it in after the fact. But what's also cool about this is that I think RockDaisy does is, this is one way to view the data, right? The other, there's another way that you can do it where you're choosing the picture of the athlete or the name of the athlete, and you're just getting that one individual record and plug it in, which is pretty cool. But I know you mentioned that probably the saving grace when we talk about time efficiency is the fact that you're able to sync with so many different technology platforms. Which platforms are you using, and kind of how do you go about syncing that with RockDaisy?
Yeah. Before I talk about that real quick, I will be honest and say when we first implemented RockDaisy, I still had a clipboard there. I was still writing it down by hand and then going and making sure if I was going to have to go enter it, because you could enter it by hand if you had to later, but it worked flawlessly. So I didn't have to do any of that. Thank goodness.
That's just the old school on us.
I mean, I wanted to have that clipboard with the roster ready to go in case.
No doubt.
Yeah. Some of the technology that we're using, we have Vald timing gates. We use laser timing gates to track their 10 flies and convert to miles per hour, and then get a little momentum conversion as well. We have Catapult for our GPS. And then we don't usually sync that, though. It's a little bit different syncing for that. And then we just recently got GymAware for VBT in our weight room. So the loading data from Vald is what I'm, been doing the most. And so I would just go in here and click to sync, and then it's going to tell me over here that it started syncing, but there's nothing new to sync. So there's not going to be anything there because I just synced last week for my testing. Once I do that, then it's just real easy to go to one of these dashboards. So like I have a miles per hour momentum leaderboard pulled up on a dashboard. So we just tested last week. So I can pull up the dates for that. And I have 9th, 10th, and 11th grade checked because we just recently moved some 9th graders into our first period football period. So I wanted to include those guys. And here, so you can see I didn't have to touch anything. Like the data was automatically synced. I mean, I clicked a button to say sync, and then all of a sudden the 10 fly times are in there. I used to have to copy and paste the 10 fly times into a Google Doc. It would convert to miles per hour, and then a momentum or truck stick calculator, whatever you want to call it. But RockDaisy has all those conversions already in there. So we track the 10 fly through a laser, and then it automatically downloads the time, converts to miles per hour, and then converts momentum. Of course, you have to have their body weight in there, but that's one of the things that we measure every time we test. It's just that easy. And then here's our top 10 sprint, miles per hour, and momentum sheet just based on that one little click of a button.
Yeah, I know that's the biggest thing. I think when you got a bunch of different pieces of technology like you guys do in the weight room, to open and pull up all these different reports and different systems and interfaces and download and create a PowerPoint or create, a dashboard or a visualization. to go present to a coach or a parent or administrator. Again, it just takes so much time. But when you're able to just hit a button and then click another button, and you can visualize it however you want to see it. I think is critical. I know for when we talk efficiency, both of us have probably used every method you can think of, right? Creating, we used to, take a lot of time and effort to make our spreadsheets, our workouts look really good, on a workout card and whatnot. And then we probably evolved to, Train Heroic or Team Builder, some of the other online platforms. But one of the newest features is the workout builder here in RockDaisy that integrates seamlessly with the AMS system. What's your thoughts on that new feature, and how have you used it maybe?
Yeah. So just to be honest, I did not think I would use the workout builder. I had my own templates that I liked, and um, just was like, I'm not going to use this, Elvis. And he's like, let me just show you how it works. Like, give me 10 minutes to show you how easy this is. And well, now you can see all the different programs I have in there just from, a few months of using the workout builder. So, it's real easy. I mean, I just built one where I'm working with, cheer starting next week, 1 day a week. So, built one for them this week. They're going to do a clean progression. What I like is, you can add the notes here. So like, let's say I'm programming for a sport, but I'm not going to be in there actually coaching that session. I can add notes here because they're not going to know exactly what clean progression I want. So I can put in there exactly the details, or if we're going to implement something like APRE from Brian Mann, I can explain to them exactly how that's going to work. We're using VBT now, or you could give them an RPE if you want. But since we have GymAware and VBT, I've been assigning that. You can do tempos. So here's the velocity. So I could say, all right, we're going to be 3 sets of 3 at 80%, and we want them hitting that thing at 0.5 is the velocity, our velocity goal for that. So then there it is. I'm not going to hit save because then it's going to change my program that I just wrote. So you do want to remember to hit save when you change things. But if you don't hit save, it's just revert back to what you had in there. So there's a lot of different things you can use it for. So categories, weight, percent of body weight, RPE, reps in reserve. A lot of times I just go NA. And then over here, if you're doing tempo sets, eccentric, you can put your tempos in there. Or a lot of times we're doing planks or chin hangs. It'll be for time. And then you got distance, height, rest. You can also put in there, and then the other notes. So let me go ahead and change this back to what it was. 3 sets of 8, I believe. And we're doing RPE, them of 7. So there you have it. I mean, and then the great thing is once I had this workout built, all I had to do was hit copy for week 1 and then select week 2, and it's copied to week 2. And then I go in to week 2, and then I can make adjustments. And so like say, all right, now we're on RPE of 8 instead of 7, or we want to go to 10 push-ups instead of 8 push-ups. It's just that easy. And then you can copy and paste that to the next week, and then makes your progressions really, really easy. So I thought the templates that I had, it was easy to make progressions, but this is just way faster and way easier when it comes to just building progressions week by week or workout by workout.
I think it was great. We haven't really showed this view in past videos or past coach spotlights. What I really like about this for myself is it kind of holds you accountable to planning ahead, right? When you see how many weeks you got planned out on the left-hand side, how many days within each week you got planned out, and then you can collapse that. I mean, you can go ahead and build out your entire 52-week program,
Right.
and see that at a glance, and keep, in the program database there. I mean, whether that you work with multiple sports, you got the whole thing planned out. You can turn around and go multiple years. And then, what I like to do on top of this, I saw that you had there in the database view, is all the different kind of blitz packages or workouts that I might tack on to somebody's workout based off maybe the position they play or an injury that they've had or something along those lines. So Having that centralized where you're not copying and pasting from a spreadsheet and then having to go and manipulate cells and worry about what's high, what's got the, box around it or the whole deal, right? The formatting, me, I think is, the key to this, because you're able to, as we've shown in other videos, you're able to display this in a workout card on a PowerPoint screen or a variety of different ways. So yeah, I'm with you. I didn't think that I would use it either. But it is definitely something that I would hang my hat on at this point.
100%. And yeah, you could see so for our football off season, obviously I've built in a lot, the different cycles. You could reprogram each cycle if you want, but I just want to keep it in a year format for the macro cycle. And then just sharing a workout, say, so the girls soccer coach will say, I'm not going to be in the girls soccer period, but I programmed this workout for them. You just go to training cards. And then here's something that Elvis and John really helped me out with. We're able to only share one workout at a time. And I'm like, hey, I need to be able to share the whole week. And then they got that fixed. I was like, well, actually, could I share the whole cycle? So then they added a whole cycle. So you can share as many weeks or a full cycle if you want with each program. So let's find that. Go to cheer again, cycle 1, apply, and there it is. So just export this bad boy, and then I usually just save it as a PDF and then email it to the coach. So even if I'm not going to be in there, I can email this to them or print it out from the screen real easy. And they have it. They have the next 3 weeks ready to go.
Yeah, I think to me that's just the ease of use of that and the daily being able to communicate in a variety of different ways with the coaches that you work with, the administrators you work with. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what you want, and then the learning of that, or I think what you just said there, the fact that you wanted to see it a different way, or you wanted to be able to share it a different way. This John, Chris, the rest of the team, they make those things happen. They really truly do listen to the users and actively try to make it better. What would you say to the coach that is looking at all this saying, hey, look, we've been like you guys, I've been coaching for 20, 30 years, it looked pretty complicated to me. What advice would you give somebody that's interested maybe in RockDaisy?
Well, I mean, I would say if I can manage it, then certainly anybody in this business can management. It's just so easy to manipulate and to use, and you can get so many things out of it that you don't even know that you really should be using or could be using. I mean, I would just encourage any strength coach out there to just give it a trial run. I mean, that was my plan. I'm going to try it for a week. And then after a week, I was like, wait a minute, I need longer. I need to try it for a little bit longer and get a whole testing cycle in there, be able to compare testing cycles. And RockDaisy was great about, you want to extend your trial period. We can do that. So they'll work with you, and I would just give it a shot, man. And you'll be amazed what all you can do with RockDaisy and just how easy it is to maneuver and just to get around the whole platform. It's just very user friendly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, for people that want to stay up with you, Andrew, what's the best way to do that? And maybe, I'm sure, being able to go down and maybe have a conversation with you is open as well.
Yeah, you can reach out to me through my email if you want, andrew.molck@rockwallisd.org. Look up Rockwall football, Rockwall High School, get a hold of me however you want. Yeah, I'd love to talk shop with anybody that wants to.
That's awesome, man. We appreciate you doing this again on a Sunday and just wish you the best of luck.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.